Welcome, friends. This is your Vairava Palanichamy. Now, we are going to talk about the important and salient features of or highlights of the economic survey 2024 and 25. You'll just read it, and it's like you can listen it. And we are traveling also. It's about 30 to 35 minutes it will take. And please listen carefully. Right? It's a highlight. And India's real GDP growth estimated 6.4% of financial 2025 and first advance estimates. The real GDP growth grew between 6.32 and 6.8 in the financial 26. Thrust on grassroots level structure reforms and deregulation to boost medium term growth potential and global competitiveness. Geo-economic fragmentation (GEF) is replacing globalization, leading to imminent economic realization or realignments and readjustments. Focus of reforms, ease of doing business through and create India's Mittelstand and India's MSME sector. To meet the requirements of infrastructure, private sector participation will be crucial. CapEx improved continuously from financial 21 to 24 and post general elections it grew the year over the year by 8.2%. The capital expenditure of on key infrastructure sectors grown at the rate of 38.8% in financial 2024. RBI and IMF project India's consumer price inflation will align with the target of 4% for the financial 26. The retail headline inflation softened from 5.4% in financial 24 to 4.9% in the April-December 2024. Bank credit has grown at a steady rate with the credit growing converging towards deposit growth. GNPA scheduled commercial banks declined from 12% low of 2.6%. 3.6 lakh crore released in resolution in 1068 plans till September 2024 under insolvency and bankruptcy code. 11.1 lakh crore mobilized through equity and debt till December 2024, a 5% increase than previous year. BSE stock market capitalization to GDP ratio stood 136%, far higher than China 65%, Brazil 37%. Overall export grew by 6% and services by 11.6% year over the year for the first 9 months in the financial 2025. India ranks the second largest exporter in the world in telecommunications, computer, information service, and as per UNCTAD. Forex at US dollar 640.3 billion, sufficient to cover 10.9 months of imports and 90% of external debt. Government Space Vision 2047 include Gaganyaan mission and Chandrayaan 4 lunar sample return mission. Drastic reduction in smartphone imports, 99% of now manufactured domestically, Economic Survey 2024-25. WIPO report 2022, India ranks 6th among the top 10 patent filling offices globally. Rupees 50,000 crore self-reliant India Fund launched to provide equity funding to MSMEs. India's services export growth surged to 12.8% during April-November 2025, up to 5.7% financial 2024. The tourism sector contribution to GDP returned to its pre-pandemic level of 5% in the financial 2023. Agriculture and allied activities sector contributed approximately 16% of the country's GDP for the financial year, estimated in current prices. Kharif food grain production expected to reach 1,647 lakh million ton, an increase of 89.37 lakh million ton from previous year. Fisheries sector shown highest CAGR, combined aggregated growth rate of 8.7%, followed by livestock of 5.8%. Installed capacity of generation capacity, installed electricity generation capacity from non-fossil fuel source accounts 46.8% in total capacity. Additional carbon sink 2.29 billion tons to carbon dioxide equivalent has been created between 2005 to 2023. By 2030, life insurance would have saved the consumers US dollar of 440 billion globally. Social services expenditure registers an annual growth rate of 15% for the financial 21 to 25. Government health expenditure increases from 29% to 48%. Expenditure by people of health declines from 62.6% to 39.4%. Unemployment rate declines to 3.2% of 2023-24 from 6% to 2017-18. Growing digital economy and renewable energy sectors provide enhanced opportunities for job creation essential achieving Viksit Bharat Vision. PM internship scheme emerges as a transformative catalyst for employment generation. Barriers to large-scale AI adoption persist in percent, leading to a window of for policymakers to act. Collaborative effort between government and private sector and academia are essential to minimize adverse social efforts in AI-driven transformation. Union Minister of Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman presented at Economic Survey 2024-25 in the Parliament today. That is on 31st of January 2025. The highlights of the survey. So whatever he spoke, it was a headlines type, and now hereafter we are going to speak about important highlights. So the state of economy, the first and foremost, it is state of economy getting back on the fast lane. State of economy. India's real GDP is essential 6.4% of financial 24-25 as per first advanced estimates of national income, which equates nearly to its decadal average. Real gross value added is also estimated 6.4% financial 25. The global economy on an average grew 3.3% in 2023 against IMF projection of 3.2% growth in next 5 years. The real GDP growth financial 2026 expected to grow between 6.3 to 6.8%, keeping the mind upsides and downsides of growth. The thrust on grassroots level structural reforms and deregulation to reinforce and the medium-term growth potential to boost global competitiveness of Indian economy. Global tensions, ongoing conflicts, and global trade policy risk continue to pose significant challenges to global economic outlook. Retail headline inflation has softened 5.4% the year financial 2024 to 4.9% the April-December 2024. The capital expenditure CapEx improved continuously from the financial 2021 to 24 post general elections. CapEx grew year over the year 8.2% during July to November 2024. India accounts for its seventh largest share in global services exports, underscoring India's global competitiveness in the sector. During the April 2020, December 2024, non-petroleum and non-gems jewelry exports went up to 9%, reflecting resilience of India's merchandise export in the volatile global conditions. Next is monetary and financial sector developments, the card and the horse. The bank credit has grown at a steady rate, credit growth converging towards the deposit growth. Profitability of scheduled commercial banks improved, reflected fall in gross non-performing asset GNPA and rise in capital risk and weighted asset ratio, that is CRAR. Credit growth outpaced nominal GDP growth and 2 successive years, and credit GDP gap narrowed minus 0.3% quarter 1 and financial year and minus 10.3% and quarter 3 its financial 23. So indicating sustainable bank credit growth. Bank sector exhibits improvement in asset quality, robust capital buffers and strong operational performance. The gross and non-performing asset GNPAs and scheduled commercial banks declined at a 12-year low 2.6% and gross loans and advances and end of September 2024. Under insolvency and bankruptcy code, rupees 3.6 lakh crore local realized in the resolution of 1,068 plans till September 2024. It's almost 161% against the liquidation value of 86.1% and fair value of assets involved. Indian stock market outperformed its emerging market peers despite election-driven market volatility changes. The total resource mobilization from primary market equity and debt stands 11.1 lakh crore in April to December 2024, 5% more than the amount mobilized during the year financial 2024. BSE stock market capitalization to GDP ratio stood 136% at the end of December 2024, far higher than the emerging market economies like China 65%, Brazil 37%. India's insurance market continued to grow upward trajectory and life insurance premium grow 7.7% in financial 2024 and reaching 11.2 crore, 2 lakh crore. India's pension sector experienced significant growth and total number of pension subscribers growing 16% year over year as on September 2024. Now we are going to talk about external sector getting FDI right. India's external sector continued to display resilience amidst global uncertainties and headwinds. Overall exports, merchandise and services grew 6% year over year for the first 9 months of financial year 2025 and services sector 11.6% during the same time. India commands 10.2% of global export market in telecommunication, computer and information service, ranking second largest exporter in the world as per UNCTAD. India's current account deficit (CAD) stood 1.2% to the GDP quarter two financial 2025, supported by rising net services receipts and an increase in private transfer receipts. Gross foreign direct investment (FDI) flows recorded revival in the financial 25, increasing from $7.2 billion in the first 8 months of financial 24 and $55.6 billion in the same period 2025, year-over-year growth of 17.9%. India's forex reserves stood $640.3 billion at the end of the December 2024, sufficient to cover 10.9 months imports and approximately 90% of the current external debt. India's external debt remained stable over the past few years, with the external debt to the GDP ratio standing 9.4% at the end of September 2024. Next, price and inflation, that is understanding the dynamics. As per IMF, the global inflation rate modernized to 5.7% 2024 and peak of 8.7% 2022. Retail inflation in India saw a reduction of 5.4% financial year 2024 to 4.9% financial year 25, April-December 2024. RBI and IMF project India's consumer price inflation will gradually align with a target of 4% in the financial year 26. Development of climate resilient and crop varieties, enhanced farming practices essential to mitigate effects of extreme weather events and achieve long-term policy. So next one is medium-term outlook and deregulation services, and it drives growth. Indian economy is in the middle of change that represents unprecedented economic challenge, opportunity. Geo-economic fragmentation is replacing globalization, leading to an imminent economic realignment and readjustments. To realize the vision of Viksit Bharat 2047, India will need to achieve a growth rate of 8% at a constant price on average for a decade or so. The medium-term growth outlook of India must consider the new global realities, GEF, China, manufacturing prowess, and the dependency of efforts and the energy transition on China. India to focus on systematic deregulation to reinvigorate domestic levers of growth and empower individuals and organizations to pursue legitimate economic activity with ease. Systematic deregulation and enhancing economic freedom for individuals and small businesses is arguably the most important policy priority to bolster India's medium-term growth prospect. Focus of reforms and economic policy must now be systematic deregulation and ease of doing business too, and the creation of a visible middle stand and India's SME sector. In the next step, state must work on liberalizing standards and controls, setting legal safeguards and enforcement, reducing tariffs, fees, and applying risk-based regulation. Next is investment and infrastructure, keeping it going. The central focus of government in last 5 years was on increasing public spending in infrastructures and speeding up approval of resource mobilization. The Union government's capital expenditure and key infrastructure sectors growth at a rate of 38.8% financial 2022-24. Under railway connectivity, 2,031-kilometer railway network was commissioned between April to November 2024, and 17 new pairs of Vande Bharat were introduced between April to October 2024. Under the road network, 5,053 national highways kilometer of highway constructed in the year financial April to December. Under the National Industrial Corridor Development Program, total 383 plots covering 3788 acres, 3,788 acres have been allotted for industrial use in various sectors in phase 1. Operational efficiency improved, reduction in average container turnaround time and major ports of 48.1 hours in financial year to 14 to 30.4 in the financial year 25, and significant improving port connectivity at a 15.8% the year-on-year increase renewable energy capacity, solar and wind power by December 2024. The share of renewable energy in India's installed capacity is now 47%. It's very important, 47%. Government schemes like DD, GYG and Saubhagya improved electricity access in rural areas, electrifying 18,374 villages and providing electricity to 2.99 crore households. The government digital connectivity initiatives have gained traction, particularly the rollout of 5G services across all states, union territories by October 2024. Efforts to provide 4G mobile services to remote areas under the Universal Services Application Fund, now Digital Bharat Nidhi, have been made significant strides, and over 10,700 villages covered by December 2024. Under Jal Jeevan Mission, over 12 crore families have been gained access to piped drinking water since its launch. Under Phase 2 of the Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin, during the April to November 2024, 1.92 lakh villages were incrementally decreased ODF plus under the model category, taking the total number of ODF plus villages to 3.64 lakhs ODF. That is very, very important, right? Open defecation free. This is very important, 3.64 lakhs now. Urban areas, Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana has completed over 89 lakh houses. City transportation network expanding rapidly with the Metro and Rapid Rail System operational under construction of 29 cities covering over 1,000 kilometers. Real Estate Regulation Development Act 2016 ensured regulation and transparency of real estate sector by January 25. Over 1.38 lakh real estate projects registered and 1.38 lakh complaints resolved. India currently operates 56 active space assets, and government space vision 2047 includes ambitious projects like the Gaganyaan mission and Chandrayaan-4 lunar sample return mission. The public sector investment alone cannot meet the requirements. Infrastructure, private sector participation will be crucial to bridge a gap. The government has created mechanisms such as the National Infrastructure Pipeline and the National Monetization Pipeline facilitate private sector involvement in the infrastructure. Next is industry, all about business reforms. All about business reforms. The industry sector expected to grow 6.2% in the financial 25 at first advanced estimates, driven by robust growth of electricity and construction, and mainly electricity and construction. Next is the government has been actively promoting smart manufacturing of Industry 4.0, supporting the establishment of Sambat Udyog centers. Financial 24, the Indian automobile domestic sales grew by 12.5%. The domestic production electric goods has grown the combined aggregated growth rate of 17.5% and financial from 15 to 24. 99% of smartphones now manufactured domestically and drastically reducing India's dependence on spot imports. The total annual turnover of pharmaceuticals in financial year was 4.17 lakh crore, growing at their average rate of 10.1% in the last 5 years. As per the WIPO report 2022, India ranks 6th among the top 10 patent filling offices globally. Micro, small and medium enterprises MSME sector has emerged as the highly vibrant sectors in Indian economy. To provide equity funding, MSME is with a potential scale up, the government launched a self-reliant fund corpus of 50,000 crore. The government is implementing micro, small enterprises cluster development program to develop clusters across the country. Next is services, new challenges for old warhouse, war. The service sector contribution total GVA is risen to 50.6% in the financial 14 to 55.4 in this 55, the first advance estimates. The average growth rate in services sector was 8% and pre-pandemic year 13-20 and stood 8.3 post-pandemic 23-25. And India held 4.3% share global services exports and 23 ranking 7th in the worldwide. India's service export growth surged 12.8% during April-November 25, up 4.7% from 24. Information and computer-related services grow at a trend of 12.8% over the last decade, financial 13 to 23, increasing the share of total 6.3% to 10.9%. Indian Railways recorded 8% growth in passenger traffic in the financial 24. Revenue earning freight to financial year was 5.2%. The tourism sector contributed to GDP return to pre-pandemic level of 5% in 2023. Next is Chapter 9, Agriculture and Food Management, Secure for the Future. The agriculture allied activity sector contributes approximately 16% of the GDP in financial 24. See, 16%. Remember, high value sector like horticulture, livestock and fisheries have become key drivers overall agriculture growth. Kharif wood grain production in 2024 expected to be reach around 1,647.05 lakh metric tons, an increase of 89.37 lakh metric ton in the previous year. For the fiscal year 2024, the minimum support price for Arhar, Bajra has been increased to 59%, 77% over the weightage average cost of production respectively. The fishery sector has shown highest compound annual growth rate of CAGR of 8.7%, followed by livestock CAGR of 8%. National Food Security Act NFSA 2013 and the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana PMGKAY marked fundamental shift in the approach to food security. Further, the provision of free food grains under PMGKAY for another 5 years reflects a long-term commitment of government towards the food and nutrition security. As 31st October, 11 crore farmers have been benefited under PM Kisan, while 23.61 lakh farmers enrolled under the PM Kisan Mandan. Next is climate and environment adoption matters. India's ambition to achieve the nation status by 2047 is fundamentally anchored on the vision of inclusive and sustainable development. India has installed generation of capacity of 2,13,701 megawatt from non-fossil fuels, which accounts 46.8% total capacity as on 30th November 2024. As per the Forest Survey 2024, additional carbon sink of 2.29 billion tons of carbon dioxide equivalent has been created between 2005 to 2024. The India-led global movement Lifestyle for Environment, LIFE, aims to enhance country's sustainable efforts. By 2030, it is estimated that LIFE measures could save consumers around US dollar of 440 billion globally through reduced consumption and lower prices. Next is the social sector extending reach and driving empowerment. The social services expenditure of the government combined for the center and states increased at compound annual rate of 15% from 21 to 25. Gini coefficient, a measure of inequality in consumption expenditure, is declining. The rural declined to 0.237 2023-24, 0.66 in 2022-23, and urban fell into 2.284 in 2023 to from 0.314 in 2022-23. This is very important. Gini efficient. It is for the measure of inequality in consumption. Various fiscal policies and government are aiding reshaping this income distribution. Government health expenditure increases from 29% to 48% share of out-of-pocket expenditure. Total health expenditure declines from 62.6% to 39.4%, reducing financial hardship to the hardship endured by the households. The Ayushman Bharat Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana ABPMJAY has played a decisive role in significant reduction in the expenditure. Over 1.2 lakh crore savings been recorded. The strategy of localization of sustainable development goals (SDGs) has been adopted to ensure budget at Gram Panchayat to align SDG objectives. Right? So next, which we are going to see is important is on employment and skill development. This is existential priorities. Right. Indian labor market indicators have improved the employment rate, declining 3.2% 2023-24, 6% 27-28. And with around 26% of the population in the age group of 10 to 24 years, India stands the cusp of unique demographic opportunity as one of the youngest nations globally. To fill up women entrepreneurship, the government has launched several initiatives in terms of easier access to credit, marketing support, skill development, and support women startup, etc. The growing digital economy and renewable energy sectors are providing enhanced opportunities to job creation, essential for achieving the Viksit Bharat mission. So, Viksit Bharat mission. And the government is establishing resilient and responsive skilled ecosystem, keep pace emerging global trends such as automation, automating AI, digitization, and efforts of climate change. The government has implemented measures to boost employment, foster self-employment, and promote worker welfare. The recently launched PM internship scheme is emerging as the transformative and catalyst for employment generation. The net payroll additions under EPFO have more than doubled in the past 6 years, signaling healthy growth in the formal employment, definitely. Then the last, I think it's the last thing, it is labor and AI era, labor in the artificial intelligence era, and whether it's a crisis or catalyst. So let's see. Developers of artificial intelligence promise to usher new age where bulk of economically valuable work to be is automated. AI is anticipated to surpass human performance in critical decision making across various fields, including healthcare, research, criminal justice, education, business, and financial services. Barriers to large-scale AI adoption persist in the present, which include concern over reliability, resource efficiencies, and infrastructure deficits. These challenges, along with AI experimental nature, create a window for policymakers to act. Fortunately, due to AI presently being the infancy, India is afforded to time to necessary strengthen foundations and mobilize nationwide institutional response. Right? Then Leveraging its young, dynamic, and tech-savvy population, India has the potential to create workforce that can utilize AI and augment their work and productivity. The future revolves around augmented intelligence, where the workforce integrates both human and machine capabilities. This approach aims to enhance human potential and improve overall efficiency in job performance, ultimately benefiting society as a whole. Collaborative effort between government, private sector, and academia essential to minimize adverse social effects of AI-driven transformation. Right? So thank you for listening, and I hope it's useful and you can listen it when you are free. It's more than 30 minutes, which we really thought that should be less than 30 minutes. Thank you once again.
Subscribe our channel. Please like, share and comment. Don't forget to click the bell icon.